You're listening to The Passion Project, a podcast based around entrepreneurship, mindset, and personal development. The Passion Project was created to help guide, inspire, and educate listeners while delving deeper into the minds of like-minded individuals. Please welcome your hosts, Dan Holden and Jarren Vels. Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to The Passion Project podcast. Welcome to episode 1 of The Passion Project. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As some of you guys may or may not know, for the last literally 12 or 13 months, I've had this as an idea, and we've somehow ended up to the point where not only have we filmed it, but it's all built and everything's here and it's all ready to go.
And it's looking nice as. You've done a real good job, brother. Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Legend, brother.
First on this show. So
yeah, I would just like to start this podcast, and this wouldn't be the usual way that I'd start the podcast, but I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everybody that has shown support along this journey. Yeah, it's a really big thing for me. It's something I'm extremely passionate about, hence the name, The Passion Project. And yeah, I'm just super pumped to get it in and just get started with it. And I'd like to start by introducing the co-hosts of all episodes from here on out, Jarren Vels. So Jarren can say what's up.
Guys? Yeah, so bloody excited to be just sitting here, really. Just like, I remember when it was first idea in Dan's head, it was like,
got confetti all over.
That's all it was, really, just an idea. And then later on, I kind of had my own talk show thing at one point, and then you were like, yeah, man, you're doing some good stuff. Would you like to co-host it? I was like, bloody oath, let's do it. And here we are. So it's awesome.
That's it. So here we are. So there might be a few technical difficulties through the podcast, obviously, as we haven't done this before, and there's like so much going on behind the scenes. It's actually ridiculous. But without saying any more with that stuff, I'd like to introduce our first ever guest. This particular person has a lot of, you've had a lot to do with like my life and some very important parts of my life over the last few years.
And we've only known each other for what, like 2 years?
Yeah. So our first guest is Josh Paton. Josh has traveled and lived in 7 countries following his dreams of doing videography, filmmaking, everything around that regards. Josh has worked with some of the biggest influencers in Australia doing filmmaking and photography and everything like that. And yeah, Josh has actually done some work for my clothing brand, and he was the one that filmed the reveal video for the podcast. So yeah, let's welcome Josh Paton to the set. First ever guest. So thank you for coming out, brother.
Cheers for having us, boys. I remember when it was an idea in your head about maybe a year ago or something as well.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I don't know. I hear a lot of ideas from people, but I never see them actually come to life. So this is actually fucking sick to see this come to life and to be the first person here. So congratulations to you, bro.
I didn't even know if it was possible when I started it. That's how far-fetched the idea seemed, especially with how I wanted everything to look.
100%. And you already had heaps of stuff going on with the clothing brand and this and that. And I'm like, oh, maybe he's trying to do too much, put too much on his plate. But fuck, you made it come to life. So
I did. It took a while, but we're here. But yeah, I want to start with obviously going into your story. So obviously I know you like decently well. I don't know everything about you. I'm going to learn a lot about you tonight. We met at wasn't the photo walk? Was it? No, it was.
Pretty sure
it was the photo walk.
Yeah.
So we met at the photo walk. So I've known you for quite a while. Since then, we've gone out to Roy's Road, done shoots. We've gone up to the Gold Coast.
We've done the Purlingbrook Falls.
The Purlingbrook Falls.
That was cool. That was cool.
That was really cool. And Jarren, actually, funnily enough, Jarren met you at the second.
The second meet. You didn't even rock up to,
I didn't rock up. I was working.
Fuck yeah. Cheers for coming through, bro. That was definitely the better one of the two anyway, so it's all good.
So yeah, I guess I've known you for a little while, and yeah, like some of the stuff that you're doing is really good. You're obviously really awesome at creating. I love your style.
Cheers.
I love what you've done. And yeah, I guess from a young age, you've always been interested in photography and that sort of stuff. So let's sort of start from the start, I guess, on where your photography sort of journey started and how you got into everything.
So I actually used to live in Nambour, where we are like right now, funny enough. Like after being everywhere, I'll come back to the roots. So Nambour is where I started. I lived in a little place called Benji Court. It's like just behind the hospital. And there was like a bunch of creeks and all that stuff back there. As a kid, I used to just go ride bikes through the creek and all that. And mum always had old cameras because she used to record weddings and stuff like that. Like, I've never even told anyone this. So
Yeah, wow.
yeah, so she had old cameras. It was like full film cameras, and I was like, this is sick. So I'd be exploring through the creek, just have this old thing filming like man versus wild shit out in the creek, and I'm like, this is sick.
Mad.
And like, that's for where I started. I actually got a bag the other day. Mum dropped this little bag off to my house, and it had all the SD cards back from like when I was exploring the bush in Nambour. Like, I might even put them in this video and show you guys.
Dude,
like,
send me
no
some.
one's ever seen any of that footage of us just swinging off vines in the bush and stuff. I would have been like 6 or 7 years old. I don't even know. Just like, that's where it started though. And then, yeah, I've just always wanted to record my life because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to remember all these sick moments that I've done. So like, to
just
me,
document
it was just,
everything.
I just wanted to document today and just like when I'm older and just be like, fuck, I didn't even remember doing that, but I've got that footage there. So that's sick.
So were you like, when you were younger, were you a creative?
I'd say
Sort of
I
kid?
was, yeah. So school definitely wasn't something for me. I knew I wanted to be creative, but back like when I went to school, teachers did not like that. If you were being creative, they were not a fan of that.
I think it's still the same.
Yeah, they still don't,
I
dude.
feel like there's a little bit more lenience towards it now. Like
That's true.
a little bit more.
There is
like,
a little more supporting kids.
they're
now
starting to
in where they
realize
wanna
now
go.
anyway. But back like when I was in school, nothing. Like you were either a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman. Like that's all they wanted you to be. So like there was nothing there for me. But yeah, I love being creative ever since being a little kid, like building covey houses and shit in the backyard. That was where it started, eh? So yeah, after that, like, sorry, I lived in Nambour for a while.
How old were you?
I was about 6 or 7 or something like that. And then after that, I moved to Budgeram. If you boys, you boys know Budgeram, 100%.
Budgeram's a nice spot.
So when I moved up there and I changed schools up to Budgeram, I met a lot of people that did music and stuff like that. And I had an old microphone at my house. So I was like, oh, it'd be cool to get some people over from school and
I've
start doing
seen that.
recordings.
So-
Have you seen some of the old stuff?
Yeah, I've seen some of your old music
Is
videos.
that music?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to see some of that.
I actually started off with music before doing filming. So like
Oh,
the
no
stuff
way.
like when I was younger, filming like all that stuff, that was just fucking around with the camera. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call myself trying to be a filmmaker or anything at that stage. I was just fucking around with mum's old camera.
Just having
So
fun.
then it was music. I was like, I actually wanted to take music somewhere, and I tried that for a bit. And yeah, I had heaps of people from school come over to my garage. We'd all sit in there for hours, just recording music and stuff. And one day my mate's like, oh, I want a little video with this to put on Facebook or YouTube so people can see what I'm doing. And I was like, oh yeah, fair enough. Started doing that. And then I just fell in love with filming from there. And I was like, this is it. Like,
It's like your outlet. Because when you were younger, you obviously, I think we were pretty similar in the sense of just did not fit in with school. Just did not like school.
definitely not.
From a young age, did you have like your own agenda of what you wanted to live your life by?
I knew exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was just getting forced to go to school. So I was like, oh, I'll just do it. I'll do it. But at the same time, I was doing my own shit. I noticed like on the side, I'm doing this shit. When I started doing the music, then it started to spread around like Sunshine Coast. Like other people from other schools started coming to my garage, and it was like a full little community in my
that's
garage, man.
crazy.
And mum would come home, there'd be like 30 people in the garage. She'd come home from work and be like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, there's so many people in our garage right now.
Yeah, right. Because you've
was
got,
sick.
I guess you've like sort of like, without sounding weird, you've sort of amounted a bit of a name for yourself on the Sunshine Coast. And like, I know you may not say it, but it sounds like you may think it sounds cocky, but like,
Yeah.
I remember when I did the photo walk, I was like, yeah, we're here with Josh Paton. What's up, bro?
I remember
and you were
you
like,
telling
yo,
me
what's
this.
up, man? And then I like got like 20 swipe ups. I never had 20 swipe ups of my story, man, ever in my life. I got 20 people and they were like, wait, how do you know Josh, bro? I used to party with Josh, or I used to like hang out with Josh, or Josh
I'd be in
used to
his
do
garage
videos.
recording music.
Yeah, and I
all
was
that
like,
shit. Yeah.
20 people were like, oh, dude, I know Josh. Like, I used to be
Bro,
friends. And I'm
yeah.
like, what the hell? How did, like, everybody
yeah.
just knows Josh.
Yeah, and like even from that, like the music scene and stuff that I was recording with, no one was like great at the time. We were all just kids like playing around. But then I got into like recording like BMX riders, skaters, this, that. So I got into like a big community of like people when I started filming. And then I guess that's the people that probably seen your story once I got to the photo meet. And you're telling me about, oh, this person said this person said that. I was like, whoa, I can't even remember these people now, but that's sick. Like,
Yeah.
to know that people still remember me on the Sunshine Coast, that's just sick. Like,
So
yeah.
when you did like the music videos and stuff, how long did you do that for?
Oh, so like that's what I actually really wanted to get into, was just music videos.
Yeah.
And just recording songs and stuff. So I did that for a while, and then
Were you charging?
No, not
And how
at this
old were you
stage.
at this
no.
stage?
Oh, bro, I would have been about 13. This would have been about 13, 14, 15. So I probably did 3 years of this in a little house in a complex in Budrum. Bro, it was a full complex. Like, we're in the middle. There's like hundreds of the other houses around. We got the shed open. We got music pumping every day.
Way.
I'm recording videos and people are just walking past looking at us like, what is
You've got
going
confetti on your left shoulder. I've been wanting to tell you for ages.
on?
I've just been looking at it.
Is that better? No, where'd it go? Fuck off.
Did you ever get a complaint about that? Like
Did
neighbours?
I ever get a
Because
complaint?
I assume you guys would have had it like fucking pumping, bro.
I think I didn't get the complaints. Mum got them, so I just got all Mum's complaints. And as much as she loved what I was doing, she's like, "You just need to keep it down, eh?" Like, we were this close to getting kicked out. Like,
Far
like,
out.
I wasn't going to say anything about this, but we were smoking heaps of weed in that garage too.
Yeah,
so
Josh used to love the marijuana.
I used to love it, bro. Like, everyone would come around, and because we were all creative people, so it was all musicians, filmmakers.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like weed's just there. Like, when you're doing that shit, I don't know. It might not be for some people, but for a lot of people I know in the creative industry, weed's
100%.
there, man. So like, it was a good place to come and just smoke up, make some music, make some videos, and it was just a good place to be. Like, at that time when I was like, I didn't even start smoking until I was about 14. That sounds
pretty cool, because I guess that's almost like another little hub for like
Bro.
all the other people that may not have felt like they fit in to come together as well. And
that's what I felt like. I felt like I was just taking all these people in and giving them a place to just
come be themselves, man.
And I wasn't charging. I was just having fun with it, man. I was like, this is sick. Like, I love just helping people out as well. Like, that's why I love doing the photo walks and stuff like that. Man,
when you sent me the invoice for filming this podcast set, I was like, what is this guy doing? I was like, bro, what are you doing?
But I'm happy to help people that are fucking willing to go all out.
You got a good heart, that's for sure.
That's it, bro. That's it. Like, that's always been my thing. If I can see someone's working hard at what they're doing, I'm not going to be a dickhead and like try and make it harder for them when I could just not do that and make it easy and help them on their journey, bro. Like, I've not made it to where I want to make it, so I need help from other people. I might as well help other people as well. So
we're all on a journey, and if we all just give each other a hand up, we can all just arrive at the destination. It's like, not crowded at the top. I wouldn't even want
to charge you, but you're the one telling me, send the invoice.
Yeah, because I was like, I appreciate it, because obviously, you know, like, what would have I done? Like, just go like hire another media company and it'd be $2,000 because they charge you for each minute. Like, even if they're taking a poo, you're paying like $500 while they're on the toilet. So I guess I want to. So you did all of the music stuff. So you did that for about 3 years.
Did that for about 3 years, yeah.
And you obviously you went to school at Mountain Creek.
No, I never went to school at Mountain
Creek. Where did you go to school?
Actually, a lot of people think I went to Mountain Creek. Hey,
you seem to have a good bond with Mountain Creek.
I feel like because I used to film the BMX riders and stuff from Mountain Creek. I started to get known in the Mountain Creek school, and like, I was at a party one night, my mate had a Creek shirt and he gave it to me and we took a photo of me and him in a Creek shirt and everyone's like, oh, he goes to Mountain Creek. And I didn't. I just did it for the lulz, eh? So I think people just started thinking.
Played, Jarren.
A whole life.
You haven't even seen that photo and you still think I go to Creek. But,
well, you definitely got a good connection with everyone that did go there.
100%. And that's a big school as well. So it's good to get your name in there, bro. Like, yeah. And they're actually that big. They have to do half days with the primary school and the high school. They don't do the whole school throughout one day. They do the primary school first or the high school first. And then when they leave, the next like part of the school comes and they do different times of the day. That's how big that school is.
I was listening to Trav's podcast the other day. Shout out the Technician podcast. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's incredible. He's actually coming on next week. But anyway, so I was listening to Trav's podcast the other day and he went to Mountain Creek. And I think he was saying there's 2,500 people at that school.
It's massive, bro.
That's a lot of people,
like, Yeah. That because my mates would like finish school. They'd start at like early in the morning and they'd finish at lunchtime. And I'd still be at school and I'm like, how the fuck are you guys at home just chilling and going to the beach? And they're like, no, we've done it all earlier. I'm like, oh, that's sick. Like, I wish I could have done that.
That's crazy.
I actually went to, how many schools did I go? 3 or 4 on the Sunshine Coast. Yeah, I was not good with school.
Just getting moved out of them.
Oh, I got moved out of what? Yeah. No, I moved out of the first. I moved out of the first one, got expelled from the next one, was about to get expelled from the next one, so I moved before that. And then the third one I did a year at and then just left.
What was that for, if I can ask? Is it just running amok or did you just not like, because when I went to school, I feel like I rebelled, but not in like necessarily a
Not the
rebellious.
worst way. But
Yeah, like I was just like, no,
Not
I'm
out
not
of bad
doing this.
intentions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without bad intentions. It was not malicious. I was just like, I know where I'm going in life and I know what I want to
and
do.
I don't want to do this.
And
shit.
you are not helping me there. So
Yeah.
why am I going to spend? I'd
Yeah,
rather
bro.
work at night and sleep while I'm here.
I fully feel that. I fully feel that.
So was that
So-
sort of what it was? It was just a sense of like
So-
you just knew you didn't need it for
Yeah.
where you wanted to go.
That's it. Like by the time I noticed what I wanted to do, I was like, why the fuck am I here? And I was doing like,
Because you noticed pretty young.
yeah, I'd say around, I don't even know, probably like 13, even younger. Like as soon as I started doing the garage thing at home,
Yeah.
and like I'd start wagging school and I'd just go to the garage, bro. And half the people from my school would be like, yes, sweet. Oh, my grade would be like, yeah, sweet. We're just going to Josh's, bro. Fuck school. So
Imagine.
So so I actually found out when I was real young that I had ADHD. Like they prescribed me with like Ritalin and shit and tried to get me on that. Did a few months on it and I was like, nah, that's not me. Like you're just trying to get me stuck in this classroom. I know what I want to do. Like
Yeah.
I don't even want to be doing like I don't even want to be taking this shit.
Yeah,
like,
it would have
this
been
just
like
isn't me.
feeling like you're in a prison.
Yeah,
just
bro,
the way
like,
it's set up as well. Like everyone in
100%.
rows, and then exams are worse.
And then take this pill to make you feel better or
Feel-
make you
be
sit stiller.
normal.
I'm like, no, that's not me. Like I don't want to be like that.
I'm pretty sure I've got undiagnosed ADHD.
Oh,
like
yeah.
100%.
We'll go get that diagnosed tomorrow.
Yeah. Bro, I'm pretty sure you'll just be able to diagnose it. They'll
Easy.
walk in and they'll be like, yes.
They could do it
Here's
over a
you.
phone.
Yeah,
appointment, eh?
literally, bro. I'll watch this and they'll be like, we can email you the document if you need it.
All good,
Pick up
bro. We'll
Ritalin
email
tomorrow.
you the certificate. It's all good.
100%. But yeah, I also found out that I had dyslexia at a young age as well. So
Yeah.
that's just something else that didn't help. Like I did try at school at first before I knew about this like filming and all the stuff I wanted to do. I just still couldn't do any of the work. Like I'd try and they'd just be like, oh, you're lazy. Oh, you're being stupid. You're being this. I was literally trying my hardest and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's what pissed me off was I was trying. They didn't think I was trying. And I was like, fuck you. Like I am actually
Yeah.
trying. But like to watch people and teachers not think that you're trying when you actually are just makes you not want to be there. So like,
Well, it's like, because I had a little bit of that as well.
Yeah.
It was like I'd actually try sometimes and I just couldn't do it. And they'd be like,
That's it.
you're not even trying. And it's
and
like,
you fully are.
and it's like when you actually are trying and they look at you and they're like, you're not even trying. You honestly, you just think in your head, you're like, if they don't think I'm trying, I'm actually trying. Why am
show
I
it.
even trying?
Yeah, I'll show you not trying.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
And then that's when you start being that like you be the class clown and all stuff like that.
That was on every single parent-teacher interview and report
Trust
class.
me, bro.
Class
I could have
clown.
been a stand-up comedian if I didn't want to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Because like, bro, I was standing up more than the teacher was during class. I'll tell you that much. But
That's funny hearing that because I'm sitting here. I'm like, you guys are like so similar with that aspect. I was like the complete opposite.
yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I always have like a chip on my shoulder to the
Yeah.
system. I hate the education
No,
system.
You don't even need to hate it. Like some people, it's fine if you can do it. Do it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hated it, but I was good at it.
Yeah.
and I would
If you're
try,
good at it, just go with it.
But then the only problem was that teachers set that expectation,
Yeah.
and everyone else sets it. And they're like, oh yeah, you're this like A+ student, man. You're going to be an engineer. You're going to be a doctor, a lawyer.
Yeah.
And then I had no idea what I wanted to do leaving school.
Yeah.
So I originally told the
Did you go to year 12?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
sick.
at that time, they want you to have chats with like the business counselor and stuff.
Oh,
and
okay.
Try to see like what career.
If you don't know what
do.
you want to do.
I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want to do something in the creative industries, and they're like,
nah.
engineering sounds better, bro. Go do it. So that's what I ended up doing. So
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's just interesting hearing like you guys.
You didn't even do engineering because
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what'd you do
Did you?
there?
Yeah, true. No, so I did a certificate 3
Oh,
because that was my favorite subject because it was like the only one where we actually got to like not do rigorous exams and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
bull crap. So yeah, ended up going straight into a job after that
yes.
and then into uni. But since then, I've dropped uni because I'm
Yeah.
a bit more clear on what I want to do now.
Yeah,
so
sick. It's still always good to have something behind you though, like 100%.
yeah,
Being
yeah.
a creative person, I feel like it's always still good if you have something behind you just to, because you never know, like creative industry is hard. Like
yeah,
shit doesn't always go to plan. So if you got something behind you, it's always good.
It
Just have that
certainly
to fall
is,
back
yeah.
on. But yeah.
I'm just gonna bring up.
Yeah, we're having some troubles with
No
the
way.
screen over here, are we?
Yeah, what's going on with this other screen?
Wait,
here?
these spinny chairs on other news is really bad. Me
Yeah,
with
they're
my little
dangerous, eh?
ADHD, I'm just sitting here like,
Wait, I've put a photo up here and I don't know how to get rid of it. I'm trying to bring up your old Instagram and what Instagram actually even
Do you have my
used to
old
be.
Your
Instagram?
desktop background, isn't it?
I don't know what I've done.
Oi, the fuck.
Oi, here we are. So
There we go.
I've been able to bring up.
Oh, no.
So,
Look at this guy.
so
No.
this is a photo of Josh's Instagram account back in the 20th of December 2013.
That is amazing.
Whoa, he's deep dived this shit.
And it says it says my outer account
Dyslexic, I told you.
deleted, and I made a new one. Help me get back up to 500. You had 500 followers when you were like what, 12?
You know the best thing
That was
about that
13.
image to me?
Yeah.
The comments.
Where's the
The
comment?
guy's saying, I need followers too.
Callum.
Josh is just like,
Callum
don't
Butler.
care, bro. Don't care. Bro, that's savage.
Look at that.
Wait, no, I'm going to tell you something that actually made my name get out on the Sunshine Coast. That's not me, that's my mate. So, shout out to Max Toon. Fuck, let's not do this. No. Wait, shout out Ayla, though.
So this is like some.
Bro.
This is why I'm here, because I did want to show some of the old stuff that
Actually,
you
hold
used
on,
to work
pause
on.
this for 2 seconds. So, but this, I was in the garage, like, when I had the whole setup. And then, no, this is before, bro. I was in the room upstairs. We had a spare room at my house.
Yeah.
Set up this little studio. And Mum's like, nah, I need it for an office space because she was like studying or doing some course or something. And then she's like, you need to go down to the garage. I was 13 here, bro. That's fucking crazy. So
No
I had this little
way.
office space and then Mum's like, nah, kicked me out. That's when I went down to the garage. And that's when it expanded and we started getting everyone. So this is before the garage days.
So this is some of the content that you used to create.
Yeah, bro.
And
I
how-
still keep in contact with her, actually. We still do shoots to this day, so.
That's so awesome, man.
Yeah,
And you
bro.
were what,
I
13
was
years
13,
old,
bro.
creating like
Yeah.
music videos and stuff
Yeah.
for like just local artists for free,
Yeah, bro. That was for free at the time.
just
Like,
because you enjoyed it.
100%. But like, as I was saying, Facebook back in the day, bro, was the best thing to get.
Facebook
Oh, let's
was-
get the... I feel there's some shit on there, eh? Oh, that's my grandpa. Rest in peace.
I'm glad I was not on Facebook until like I was at least 15,
Yeah.
16.
So you were doing
That's
wedding videos,
not wedding.
isn't it?
No,
What
it
is it?
looks like it. That's in Scotland, bro. We haven't even got to this part
Oh
yet.
wow, okay, we're digging too
Yeah,
deep. We're digging
yeah.
way
No,
too deep.
Yeah, we're getting ahead of time now.
All right, let's go. All right.
Yeah, nice.
Let's wind it back a little bit. Okay, so
no. Let me finish off about this Facebook. So,
Oh, yeah.
I was a shit person back in the day. So, like, if I seen a chick post something, I'd just be a dick and comment on it, like something just to be a dick. And
Yeah,
then,
just
and
to be
then
like-
people would jump in, they'd back me up. It was like full sides, bro. We'd have like 300 people jump into the comments, and it'd be nuts, and everyone would be fighting. This post would blow up, like more people would jump in it. It was like all these threads, bro, and it would just be like we'd sit there all night, just like paying people out. They'd be paying us back, just full memes, like. Bro, like
Wow.
no one has any idea. Like if you say one thing like that now, Facebook will just shut you
Yeah,
down.
literally, I was
They'll
gonna
take your
say,
account
you could
away.
not do that these
Bro,
days, eh?
And like just from that, like people would see me in the comments and then they'd like back me up or they'd hate me. And then in the next like comments of someone else's post, they'd see me again, they'd back me up, they'd hate me. And then I grew like a following on Facebook just off people seeing me being a dick in the comments.
So it was either you loved or hated Josh.
Yeah, and if you hated me, I guarantee in another post down the track in a couple of months, you're going to love me because you'll be like, yeah, he's actually talking facts now.
Yeah.
So like, I'd have people, I'd rock up to house parties like 14 years old and this cunt's like, oh, I fucking hate you. 2 weeks later, it'd be like, bro, that was sick what you did the other week on Facebook. And I'm like, that's funny.
crazy,
Like, that's how I networked Sunshine Coast at the start. So it was my garage
Just
and
literally
Facebook,
roasting
bro.
people.
Just
House
roasting.
parties.
I was a little meme lord back in the day. It's fucked.
So at what age did you sort of like moving on from that sort of stuff?
Yeah,
At what
yeah.
age did you get into? So you were 14 doing that.
I was like, yeah, I was probably 14. I was
And then-
young, yeah, 13, 14.
Wow. Okay. And then you've been overseas a lot.
Yeah.
And I know you
quite a
haven't been
bit.
overseas recent years because obviously
No one
What-
has been.
no one has
No,
been.
Yeah.
no.
So you did a lot of traveling.
I'm actually, without sounding like a dick, I'm so glad I got to do it before the coronavirus. Like, it opened up my mind a lot. Like, you guys will get to do it soon enough, but like,
Maybe.
Hopefully.
no, 100%,
Maybe.
100%.
Well,
I'll give it like a year max.
I'm not getting stabbed with that thing, so I don't know if they'll let me go overseas.
Oh, no good, then you're stuck.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, we're moving on from that. Let's not get political now.
Yeah.
So
Controversial.
15, you went to Scotland?
Yes.
And was Scotland your first overseas?
That was my first. I'd been there younger, but like the first place I could remember going, like as a teenager or whatever. Yeah. So Scotland was the first place. I actually went over there because my grandma had dementia, my grandpa had diabetes at the time, and mum was like, I don't think they've got long left. So let's go over there.
Spend some time with them.
Because I didn't know. They'd come over to Australia once a year. That's all I knew of them. Once a year and like a phone call every week or something. So she's like, I want you to know who your grandparents are. So I was like, sick. So that's what got me over there. And yeah, it was actually sick to spend time with them. Eh?
How long were you over there for?
I was there, I think, about 2 years.
Wait. Whoa.
Yeah, I was expecting like
I thought you were gonna say 2 weeks.
holiday.
Bro, I got
a
dual citizenship, and I fucked up over there for 2 years when I was 15. 100%.
So you literally just moved straight over there from...
Yeah. So I was actually...
This is what I find so interesting about you, this overseas stuff.
Before I went overseas, I was at school at 15, and I pretty much dropped out. And I was at Burnside at the time.
Yep.
Fucking horrible school, by the way. Hate every teacher there. Just putting that out there in case you see it. Sorry, Dan. But
so I didn't go there.
That's fine. But yeah, so I like pretty much dropped out. I was doing all that garage stuff. And then when I told them like I'm not coming back to school, they'd call mum up every day. Where is he? And then they actually said I could go to TAFE because I dropped out in year 9. And they're like, you're not old enough to go, but if you have a meeting and they like what you're doing, we'll let you into TAFE.
I had that option, yeah.
So yeah, I went, had a meeting, and they didn't have any film courses or like photography stuff that I wanted to do down here. So I went up to Mount Gravatt twice a week, and I tried to do that for about, I'd say, a month or two, and it was not working out. Man, I was teaching myself more on YouTube than this guy's teaching me. He's like 80 years old, dropped out of Channel 7 like 20 years ago, trying to teach me black and white filming, bro. I'm like, what do you mean, bro? This is not teaching me anything.
You're not even wrong, though, because the education system, and me and Jarren always talk about this.
So far behind.
Education system, right? It takes them like 5 years or something stupid to actually build the classes and the lessons and the curriculum.
And by the time that 5 years has gone past, you're teaching ancient shit, man.
Literally, man.
The thing is, they're all learning from textbooks.
Yeah,
so the textbooks, they're written
How old
over
are
like a
those?
span of 5 years.
They're like, oh, this is the person that invented the TV. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, like,
like,
dude, we have holograms now. What are you doing?
Bro, we got full VR and shit. Like, let's get real. But so I noticed that wasn't working, and that's when mum's like, this isn't working, is it? I was like, nah, I'm learning more on YouTube. She's like, yep, I've seen that. Let's go to Scotland.
Your mum sounds like she was a big
up.
part of your life.
Yeah, no,
That's a
I
big
respect
plus.
mum. If it wasn't for mum, 100%. I respect her. She respected all my decisions, and she believed in me. So fuck, like
Do you think that gave you the confidence to go off
100%.
and do what you wanted to do?
100%.
Do you think you would be doing what you're doing today if it wasn't for her?
I've got mates that mums don't back them in what they're doing, and I feel like they could be like even more ahead of me by this time. And like I've tried to hype them up. I've tried to tell them just do it, but because their parents don't back them up, they just don't do it, and it's fucking sad. So like I really appreciate my mum, and I feel like my mum's a creative person in a sense as well, even though she doesn't do anything real creative now. But I feel like she knew. Like,
you can still be creative minded and not,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people out there that are creative minded.
Yeah.
But they just don't take any action on what.
That's it.
On the
and like
line.
mum's
Yeah, you
done
wouldn't know
a lot of world traveling, so like I think she's very open minded to the fact of if you believe in what you believe in, just run with it.
Just run
do
with it and just do what you love.
100%. Like
So-
she's met a lot of people around the world, so she'd have a lot of experiences.
And
A lot.
on the topic of your mum, she obviously wasn't very money orientated.
No.
Didn't care.
See,
Just as
neither
long as
am
you're
I,
happy.
bro.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why I said that, because I noticed that
100%.
you're not motivated by money in
Not
the
at
slightest.
all, bro. I just want to enjoy what I'm doing. I've had full-time jobs getting paid heaps, and like that doesn't bring happiness to me at all, man. Like if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, I'm getting the fuck out of there. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
like I'll get up to a Sydney story later on, but
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're going to unpack that one.
yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
That's it.
It's good that you got the self-awareness to recognize that, though,
Yeah.
because I feel like there's just so many people out there that would be stuck, and I almost found myself in
Yeah.
that situation as well.
That's it.
I
And if you-
definitely dragged you out of that situation.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, not out of like a bad influence
Yeah,
type
yeah,
of thing, but like you kind of just need that one
You
person
need-
to
yeah,
show you that like
100%.
shit's possible.
And
And
I've
that
had
may
that
have even
person,
been your mum
yeah,
for you.
I've got one really close mate, Steez, and like we linked up in Melbourne a few years ago, and ever since like he's been pushing me. Mum pushed me to that level, and then he's the next person that's been like, we got to do this shit, and that's been the next push.
Shout out Steez.
Shout out
Yeah.
Steez, 100%.
Legend.
So But yeah,
So you were in Scotland for 2 years. 2 years.
I think it's about 2 years. Yeah.
And over there, you didn't attend school?
No, I actually went to school like one or two days just to see what it was like there. They're like, we'll let you come in because mum's like, he hasn't been to school in ages. Like, let's try. So I full went to school there.
In Scotland?
Yeah, bro.
That would have been so different.
It was nuts. Like, I went to my mum's school. How weird is
Whoa.
that?
So she grew up in Scotland, obviously.
Mum grew up in Scotland, yeah. Mum grew up in Scotland and yeah, she had me in Alice Springs, so that's really weird, eh? Like, I was born in Alice Springs. Mum had been there for like, I don't know. She'd been there for like 5 years or something, and then boom, I came along. But in Scotland, I went to the school that Mum went to, which was hell weird. And like they full just did 2 Australian days where they're just teaching all the school kids about Australia shit. And
no way.
And bro, like kangaroos, emus,
I swear we're like,
this is sick.
when you go to different countries, people literally think we ride kangaroos to school.
Bro,
Like I'm not even.
Shrimp
I know
on the
you're
Barbie and all this shit.
I know you're laughing, but like they genuinely
set.
do.
Yeah,
They think we
100%.
walk out our door and there's just koalas in the trees.
Yeah, they literally
What?
think we just live in a bush where there's like crocodiles,
Yeah.
alligators,
Everything's
snakes.
gonna
like,
kill us.
Yeah, we walk out of their house and it's all just happening in front of us. It's
Yeah,
like,
we
nah,
walk out,
brother.
we've got to fight off redback spiders and red
Yeah,
belly
bro.
black
Maybe that
snake.
is the way it is. Maybe we just don't recognise it.
Yeah, maybe we're just accustomed to
I'd
it.
say in Alice Springs it's a bit more like that. But out there, these days it's pretty civilized. We're doing all right out here.
About the scariest thing out here is just some interesting humans, but that's a different.
just the Nambour.
Yeah, that's
about it out
that's
here.
a whole different episode on that one.
But yeah.
So you moved back from Scotland. You went back to.
No, let me tell you a bit about Scotland, actually. That's where I first started charging for music videos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So you
bro.
hadn't charged previously
Never.
in Australia.
Never
at all?
charged in Australia. I was filming for people there, and it was like I was doing Scottish rap at the time, bro. Like, I'm glad you didn't bring any of that shit up because that's embarrassing. But I've actually got one of my most viewed videos on YouTube from a Scotland music video. It's at like 500,000 views or some shit at the moment.
No way.
Actually nuts. Like, that's my most viewed video. So yeah, that was sick. And I was doing some videos for boys there, and they're like, bro, you have to charge. Like, you're dumb if you don't. Like, everyone out there, because they don't have much money and they're in like a very, I don't know what you call it, like, not a poverty area.
Like
but
low
it's
econ-
just
like-
low,
Yeah.
low. So no one's got money. So they're all grinding, bro. And when they see me doing all this shit and not asking for money, they're like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you have a talent. You need to fucking make money off this. And that's when I was like, I do. Like, I've spent heaps of money on my equipment, or like my parents at the time had helped me. Not heaps, but like enough to get a decent camera and a microphone. Like,
Enough to support what
Yeah.
you were doing.
as I said before, mum's like, no rich person, she doesn't live off like heaps of money or whatever, but if she sees I have a passion for something, she's gonna help. That one there, bro.
620,000.
That's
That's
it, bro.
views.
impressive.
4 years ago, man. That's hectic to look back at, eh? All this shit
Wow.
is from Scotland. All that's from Scotland.
No way. And
And
that's
that's-
all your most. That's because I filtered this by most popular. So
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
is most popular
Bro,
from Scotland.
I'm not gonna lie, I've dropped off YouTube quite a bit since I've come back to Australia. But I feel like in Scotland everyone helps push everyone's socials so much more than they do in Australia.
Australia is so like
So behind, bro.
behind everything.
Like they push, everyone gets behind everyone. They push it. They're like on socials, like YouTube and stuff more. I feel like Australia's not too big for YouTube. But
Nobody wants to see anybody win in Australia. Like
that's the problem.
you've even got to
Yeah.
pick your friends, bro, and even family, dude. Like not
100%.
not for me, but like
Yeah.
I know people where their family don't even want to see them win, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, what are we here
That's
for?
it.
Like you
That's
know,
it. I've got people. I know people like that around here, and it's sad, eh?
Yeah.
And that makes them not want to do anything with their lives, and it's just that cycle.
So how much were you charging for
Bro, at the
in
time,
Scotland? Because
I
what
was
is
like-
Scotland dollars to Australian
So
dollars?
like £50 would be like $100 or something like that. So it's just like double.
It's in pounds, right?
Yeah, in
okay.
pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think someone was like charge £50 or something for a full music video, which is like $100 or just under $100.
That's still pretty cheap.
That's
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 Really
decent
cheap.
at the time for me. First time.
yeah,
ever
true. How
charging.
old were you at that point?
Bro, I'm like 15
16?
years old. Like, I'd worked one job on the Sunshine Coast being a dishy before that, and I was probably
Yeah.
getting paid like fucking $5 an hour. So,
just gave
when
you
I'm
some cash before you left.
bro, yeah, legit. Like, I probably didn't even get paid for half the shifts, to be honest. So to get that like $50 or like the £50, which is like $100, I'm like, I'm winning, cunt. Like, and I wasn't paying rent back then, so I'm like, yeah, down to the shop to get some lollies and like a fucking spliff so I can
Yeah.
go light off a joint when I
What
get home.
what camera did you have at this point?
Bro, I was on like a Nikon D50 50-100. Some
No way.
bro, I still got it at home, mate. It's nuts. It doesn't work, but
That's sick. Keep that
I'm
forever.
keeping that for the rest of my
I've
life.
seen that on your camera shelf, actually.
Yeah. It's right at the bottom. I've got my newest to my oldest cameras, and it's there. It's just collecting a lot of dust. But
So did you invest any of the money that you earned
Yeah.
into building like all your camera equipment
I
stuff? Because
actually-
you have a house deposit in camera equipment,
fuck,
or like 3 house deposit in camera equipment.
never thought about it like
The
that.
housing market just did go through the roof, so maybe only
Not
one,
anymore, but
maybe one house deposit in camera equipment.
Maybe if everyone stays in Melbourne, I might be able to get a house.
So is
Yeah.
the cost of cameras though.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't be
true.
surprised if it is like nearly the same.
But yeah, I was putting money back into it. Not so much at that time in Scotland. I was young, so I didn't know what the fuck I was
So
doing.
did you just had one camera, nothing else?
Just had one, the Nikon D5100, I'm pretty sure at the time. And at the time, my grandma bought me the 2015 MacBook Pro. I had a MacBook Air before that, which was like, it was shit, bro. I couldn't do anything on it.
Yeah.
My grandma bought me the 2015 MacBook Pro, which I'm still using to this day, to be
What?
honest. So
sick.
it's sick. Like,
Shout out grandma. Was it
shout
grandma?
out grandma, bro. Yeah, fucking grandma.
Grandma's
bro.
awesome, bro.
Grandma's sick.
My grandma has been
What
like,
would you call it?
pardon?
What would you call it? Grandma?
I say nana.
Nana?
Yeah. So,
alright, sick.
so my nana has been like the biggest supporter
yeah.
of like everything that I've done. Like my parents have been supportive, but like
Yeah.
she bought me my first drum kit when I got into music because
bro,
I used
did
to do
drums
music.
back in school. Fuck
Yeah. And so she brought me my first drum kit, and then there was something else. I wanted to start another business, and she bought me like a gazebo.
Yes.
And
sick.
I was like 13 years old,
Shout
getting a
out, great,
gazebo
bro.
for Christmas.
That
That's-
would seem so strange
Yeah.
to anyone else saying.
And
But bro,
I
me
was
getting a camera at the time, people were like, why the fuck do you want a camera?
I
Like,
was so
really?
stoked when I got this gazebo, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I remember Christmas Day. I ran outside after I knew what it was.
Yeah.
I ran outside, bro. I unzipped this gazebo in the front yard of the house I live in now, right? Because I
What?
moved back to it.
yeah.
And I set the gazebo up. It was a 3x6 meter Austrail Extreme Heavy Duty
That's
gazebo.
decent.
$450. Like, because I always looked at it. I cut it out of a BCF newsletter and put it on my wall. I wanted this gazebo.
100%.
And I got it. I ran outside and I set the gazebo up and I was like, this is it.
This is it.
I was like, what more could I want in life? Like, I have my own gazebo and shade shelter at the markets. Hodges is losing his stuff over
do you
here.
ever remember what you put under the gazebo, or was it just
Dude,
the
I had an
gazebo?
iPhone business where
Yeah, dog.
I used to sell iPhone and it was called Dan's iPod and iPhone accessories, and accessories was misspelt.
For
That
legal
is so
reasons or
Dan.
dyslexic shit?
Just retarded.
Ah, yeah,
Honestly, like I
that's
just
fine.
spelt it wrong. I'm terrible at spelling. I
Yeah.
always have been.
Dude,
and I
both,
always
bro.
will be.
So that's when the manifestation began.
Yeah.
From manifesting gazebos to manifesting the
Dan's
whole podcast
always
set.
putting stories of this car on his Instagram story.
It's on the
couple
vision
of weeks.
board.
Bro, yeah. I see it every couple of weeks on Instagram. He walks past the dealership. He's like, this is the one. This is the one. The gazebos. That's where it started.
Started
Now
the
I know,
gazebos,
that
man.
car's fucking closer than you think.
Dude, the vision board over there. So Jarren's is on the left, mine's on the right.
Yeah.
That is like, my mum for my birthday present, for my 18th birthday present, she was like, what do you want? And I was like, it's $32.
Yeah.
It's on eBay. It's literally my dream car, but just in a model scale.
Yeah,
That was my birthday present.
Nuts.
And I
Oh,
just
that's sick.
found it again the other day because I accidentally lost it when I moved.
Yeah.
But I found it. But I feel like we got a little bit off track there. But yeah.
That's sick. That's sick. Though.
So yeah, I guess so you had like your mum supporting you.
Yeah, my grandma as well supporting me, and my grandpa at the time as
Yeah,
well.
and obviously your father wasn't in your life.
Nah.
So we won't get into
Nah,
that. But
we'll leave him out of
yeah,
that.
yeah. So is that from a very young age or?
Yeah, that was from very young.
So you never really knew him at all.
I'd see him on weekends at a time, and then I don't know. He kind of got a girlfriend. He got too busy. He just started doing his own shit, and fair enough. Like, so that's why I rate my mum so highly. Eh? 'Cause
Yeah.
she
was
even
the
though
mum
she
and
didn't
the
have
dad.
much, yeah, and even though she didn't have much money, and like she could have told me, I want you to do this. I want you to be this person. She let me be who I was. She put money into it at the start. So like,
That's incredible.
always gonna. Fucking,
And when you make it, because no doubt you will.
yeah.
You know,
Mum's the first one.
you'll
bro.
look after your mum.
100%.
I know
And she
that.
always says that. She's like, when am I getting that mansion and shit? I'm like, all right, Mum, calm down,
Calm
calm
down,
down.
Mum.
We'll get there. We'll get there one day.
Let's start with a weekly
Give me
allowance.
6 months.
yeah.
Bro, print the mansion out and just like stick
100%.
it. Just stick it on the wall, man. Just like Photoshop a
That's
the
it.
photo.
Nah,
of your
she
mum
doesn't
in
even
front.
want a mansion.
No.
That's just her taking the piss. Like, honestly, mum's happy with the shack, and she'll say that to me. She's like, "When are you getting me my shack?" And I'm just like, "We'll get there. We'll get there.
You will get there. I believe in
bro.
you.
100%. It's all time.
What is your this is really deep, but I'm interested to know what is your definition of success, because everybody has a different definition.
I reckon just as long as you're happy doing what you're doing, bro. At the end of the day, fuck the money.
So you're successful
That's it.
because you
To
love
me,
what
bro,
you're doing.
Like, I had goals. I've passed those goals, and then I haven't set new ones because I honestly feel like I am like happy doing what I'm doing.
Goals are really good to have, but
They're good to have, but
it's sometimes you can really go down the wormhole of like goals can be a good or bad thing. It depends.
Exactly.
I think that you need to be so goals like so I've got some pretty ambitious goals, right? But I always live by like an idea that if you're not happy in the present moment with where you are right now
100%.
with what you have, you will not be happy having other materialistic object things in your life. So I have some pretty big goals. But I'm already successful.
Exactly.
Like, because I love what I'm doing. I can already tell that this podcast shit is like I invested a lot of stuff into this before I even tried it. But I knew that this was like, I had a really big feeling. I was like, dude, I'm going to love this because this is like my calling. And even now I can tell that like, this is like.
The first episode, bro. This is going off.
Yeah, I can tell that this is like, this is it. Like, I fucking love this.
Look at
this
you.
is what I want to do.
He's
I'm
happy.
buzzing,
He's
bro.
happy.
I'm buzzing.
He's happy.
But,
that's all we ever want.
So like, it's really important to have big goals. Like, you know, maybe it's not important. It depends who you are.
Yeah, I feel like when you watch all these YouTube videos and everyone's got, you got to have goals, you got to have goals, you got to have goals. That's one way of doing it, man. But like another way, you can just go through life doing whatever makes you happy.
Your goal is to be happy, and that's where you are. If you're
doing what makes you happy, I feel like you'll make money out of it at the end of the day.
That's
right.
That's it.
And if you make other people happy and other people are watching your shit and you're just doing whatever the fuck makes you happy, there's a way to make money off that shit. So money's not even a problem. Fuck, I don't even care about it. If I do have it, don't have it, but it'll come when it comes. So
as long as you got a camera in your hand, you're just creating.
I've made money off it before, and I've had days where I've made absolutely nothing off it. At the end of the day, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, so I know I can still live off it and shit.
That's right. And what I'll try and sum up what I was trying to say. I was like sort of like going off on a tangent there. I'm gonna get ready, guys. There's gonna be a lot of tangents on this show. But what I was trying to say is pretty much like, it's really important. Like, yeah, it's good to have goals, but I think there's a point in your life where like, if all you're chasing is those goals, you become numb to the present and what's going on around you.
It can be misleading.
And once you reach those goals as well,
you can have either a what now moment.
Yeah.
And a lot of people talk about that. Like a lot of successful people are like, dude, I had this big goal I wanted to hit. And then I hit it. And then it was like almost spiraling into depression.
That's
because it was
100%
like,
it. Bro, my goal ever since I had a camera was like, I just want to make videos and make money off it and be able to live. And I've done that.
This is my conversation.
I was
love this.
I was like, oh, that'll take me years until I'm in my like 50s or 40s or some shit to do. And I've already done it by the age of fucking, when did I move back to Australia? I'm 21.
You're 21.
So
we're the same age.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So when I moved back to Australia when I was 17. And that's when I fully started living off making filmmaking, photography and all that. And then I hit that goal.
Off it at 17.
At 17, bro, I was living off it. And then that's when I was like, fuck, I've just hit all my goals. What's next? And that's when I'm like, I'm not even going to set new goals because I'm just going to let whatever happen.
This is what
I've been happy enough to get to this and I've dreamed to do this. So let's just keep this shit going. Like my goal is just take it to the next step. Like,
do you think like, so from a young age, you obviously set that goal. And when you hit that, you're obviously like a pretty aware, like you weren't stupid when you were young. You're obviously like really aware of like, what was going on in your life, and you were like, I've already hit what I was working so hard to do. Yeah. So why do I have to set bigger goals? Let me just be in this and enjoy this,
that's
feel
all it, bro.
And then just chase that further.
Let's just see how much bigger I can take this. Like I've hit the goal, but
I like to see like goals as like levels in life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter what level you want, because the person at the top level, they may be getting the view, getting the better view, but the person that's halfway up the levels, they may be more grateful. So the midway view to them is better
100%
than what they're feeling up the top.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
So for you, like you probably just got to this level where you're like, this is what I was working towards and this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then you were like, fuck it, I'm just going to chill on this level and just
chilling
cruise around on this level.
That's it. And like, I love this level that I'm on at the moment, bro. I'm meeting some crazy people. If I took it to the next level and tried to like start something else or move somewhere else, the opportunities I've had in the last couple of years, I would have missed.
Yeah, that's it. It's like not having that clear, like massively ambitious goal has almost opened you up to more opportunity
100%.
in a way.
If I was like, oh, I need to start this next thing, and I went to start something else, I would have missed like that level that I was on. Like that's a good way of putting it, is the levels, because that's 100% what happened. And done some crazy shit, just not expecting it.
Yeah.
And like just chilling, just waiting for it to come, and then it comes, and I'm like, fuck yeah, that wasn't even a goal, but like I love where I'm at. Like
you've done it.
That's it. So I don't really set massive goals or anything at the moment. I'm kind of just chilling, but like when it gets to it.
But you're successful though, because you're happy and you're just enjoying life and you're just living it.
That's it. The one goal I would have is to get back into vlogs next year, because I've kind of stopped doing them a bit. That's the one goal, but like that'll happen when it happens.
That's right. And the thing with the industry that you're in, which is like, I guess I'm not really in that industry. I sort of used to dabble my fingers in it, but I'm not. I've sort of stepped away a little bit now.
Yeah.
But I guess like I'd still consider myself a creative.
100%.
Like just different aspects of creating, whether it be business or like whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But for what you're doing, sometimes like when you chase those new levels, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but the higher up you get, the less creative you can actually be, because you start getting so like, you're like literally going down
the business mind takes over the creative mind.
You start going down a funnel, and they're like, no, this is what, and you got way more constraints.
And that's when you got management telling you what to do. You've got other people you're creating for telling you what to do. You've got everyone just telling you what to do, and you're like, I'm just literally fucking getting told what to do all the time. There's nothing of what I want to do is in this anymore.
And that's where it goes from passion to work.
Yeah,
and that's
100%.
Where your effort goes from 120% to
down.
To
and like
20%.
You can still try and do your creative shit on the side, but by the time you go to do that, you're like, I've got no energy because I've just been slaving away all day. Like I'd rather go work in a kitchen being a chef or being a dish hand all day, and then come to my camera and be like, sick, now I've got 100%.
Just have no restrictions.
Yeah, because like if you're already doing what you love all day, but you're getting told what to do, and it's not your passion anymore, by the time you go to make it your passion, you've just lost all interest. So there's been times where I've worked full-time doing filmmaking, and I'm like, I need to get out of this because I'm about to lose all creativity. I've worked towards this shit for years, and I'm not about to end it now. So I'd rather have no money, go fucking live on the streets, and just start getting my creativity back, and then money comes again.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I feel like that's how creation or content creation, like whatever you want to label yourself as, photographer, videographer.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have any restrictions, but that's one of the problems when you get to that level, because then you got legal matters as well, the stuff you can and can't do, and then there's other people's ideas as well feeding all into it. Like, I want you to make it this way, but as the creative yourself, you might have a different vision, and
100%.
it just becomes too conflicting.
Like, you got to work with a team sometimes, but when it's not a team that listens to your ideas, that's when it starts to not work, and like
starts to butt heads.
Yeah. Like you can only do so much until you get to a stage where you're like, okay, this is not what it was anymore.
Well, that's like when I had the idea about this like videos that I wanted made when you came in and you're like, what do you want? And I was like, honestly, like I was like, this is a rough idea of what I want. I was like, just go for it. I was like, I'll let you pick the music. I'll let you pick the soundtrack. I'll let you like work out how we're going to film this. Yeah. And I think when you sort of do that, you get the best video back.
That's it.
Because
we both just sat there and we came up with a little plan. I was like, how do you think about this, this, this? And you're like, yep, I reckon this and this. And then
that's right. And then I feel like you get the best result out of that because you're doing it how you, like to your style.
That's it. And like, if you don't want someone for their style, find the person with the style that you want.
That's exactly right.
Don't try and hire someone that doesn't do your style and be like, oh, but I'm going to try and make you do the style I want. Don't fucking do that. Go get someone else. There's plenty of other people out there.
I've got some really good friends, even ones that are local here. Yeah. And I didn't actually tell anybody this, but I got hit up by 2 people saying, why didn't you get me to actually film the reveal video?
Oh, real?
Yeah. And I was like, one's like, you know, does well for himself and he's going to be listening to this. It's no hate. No. But it's just like.
It's just the style.
Yeah. And that's what I said to him. I said, bro, it's like. The video that I knew what I wanted, and that was just Josh's style. He was 100%. Very corporate based.
Yeah.
I'm not corporate
That's what I mean. People hit me up to do weddings, bro, and I'm like, sorry, that's not what I do. Yeah. Like, I know I could do it,
and there's
but
a lot of money in weddings.
Yeah.
So for you to say no, that proves a point.
I pass it on to my mate in the Sunshine Coast, Byron. He fucking smashes weddings, bro. And I'm like, I could easily make a few grand out of this, whatever, just be fine for the rest of the week. Even when I've got no money, I'm like, nah, I'll hand it to Byron because I've seen what he's done. I know what he can do, and I know the people are going to be happy.
You need to set
with
up
that.
an affiliate program.
100%, bro. But that, as I said, like, I'm just happy with helping people, bro. And like, if I'm no good at it, I'm not going to go try. Like, because I've done it, and I can make alright wedding videos. But like, fuck, when you look at his, you're like, all right, he's the man for that.
You can tell he's passionate about it.
100%.
And
I won't. I'll be there all day, just like, fuck,
Yeah.
send me home, bro. Give me some food. I want to go. Like, this shit's taking too long.
I'm
being honest.
No,
completely
I'm the
honest.
same.
It's not my thing, eh?
I used to do weddings because, like, it was sort of just like I loved doing it
Yeah.
at the start, but then it just became a good paycheck.
Exactly.
And then, like, the bride and groom were just there, and like you're walking through this field on a golf course,
Yep.
and you've already had the same photo 600 times.
Yep.
And they want the bride wants some more, and then you got all this
Again,
pressure.
again.
You get back the next day, and you get an email, and you're like, "Do you have any
missed the
sneak
moment.
peeks?"
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, you're like, do
Right.
you have any sneak peeks? And you're like, "Oh, like this takes a few, like a."
Do you have any sneak peeks? I was literally with you for like 38 hours yesterday and the night after, and fucking just shut up. Give me at least a week to fucking let me have some sleep, brother, please.
No joke. And then it's like you just like don't reply to the email because you're like,
Yeah.
You're like,
And
no.
they're like,
and then they
"Oi."
call you,
Yeah.
and you're like, dude, just
No
like,
way.
and they're like, oh, but we just want better communication. I'm like, I told you it was gonna be like 3 weeks delivery, and that is quick in the wedding industry. My stepsister got married, and it took like 3 months.
Right. I at
something.
least need to be drunk one night after the wedding to just,
Just let it all
fucking
out.
let
Yeah.
me get away from it and let me get myself back, and then we'll get into it. But like, that's why I can't do it, bro. It's too long. It's
Yeah,
too
and
many
you don't do
fucking
much
days.
corporate stuff really.
Not
either.
anymore. I used to. When I lived in Melbourne, that was it. That's all I was doing was corporate shit. And I tried to steer that way, but not my shit, eh?
Well, that's probably a good little segue there, actually, into
Yeah.
Melbourne. So
Into
after
Melbourne.
you went to
When I went to Scotland,
Scotland, where did
So-
you go from Scotland?
I actually came back to Alice Springs first, so where I was born. I'd
Right,
never been
okay.
back. So Mum and I flew back to Alice Springs, and she showed me around, which only took like 10 minutes.
Your
'cause
mum's
it's
the
tiniest
goat,
town. Yeah,
bro.
fucking love her. eh?
Your mum is
She
the
was like,
guy.
I got a friend there. We'll go stay in their little granny flat for like a couple of months. I was like, fucking oath. Met some rappers there, like they were doing their thing. So I made a bit of money out of doing music videos in Alice Springs, bro.
No way.
Do I just have like the wrong idea about Alice Springs? Like, I
Yeah,
think so. In my head, I
bro.
just pictured just like a desert
Yep.
with a rock.
Bro,
And, like, 5
literally,
houses.
Uluru is a 6-hour drive from Alice Springs.
I
Everyone thinks it's right there, but it's not. It's like a full half-day drive or whatever. You need to like,
no way.
yeah, you're packing your bags, you're driving, you're sleeping there for the night, and you're coming back the next day. You're not going to just see that shit in a day. and
Dude,
come
I
back.
thought they just like
No.
passed it on the way to IGA.
Go down to local shops. Oh, there's Uluru.
no, you fool can't even see it from Alice Springs.
That's
eh? It's like,
crazy.
it's another thing in itself. That's another day.
So, were you still using the Nikon at this point, or had you moved on?
Oh, so I think I can't remember if it was when I first got to Melbourne, just after Alice Springs, or when I left Scotland. But I transitioned to a GH4. I think it was just
Oh,
before I
no
moved.
way. Are they
GH4.
Panasonic?
The Panasonic
Yeah.
GH4, bro. That thing was nuts. That first 4K camera,
Yeah.
first 120 frames, but in like the shittest bit rate though, so it looked like ass. But at the time,
It still was 120
bro,
frames.
120 frames. I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
That was
this
a
is
big
the
deal back then.
Shit, yeah, 100%. That was sick. So touch screen as well. I was like, brother, this is the shit. So yeah, so I got that. And then, yeah, went to Alice Springs, did a couple of months there. And then my mate in Melbourne hit me up. He's like, bro, you still doing filming and shit? I was like, yep. Yeah, so this is when I moved to Melbourne. And this is when I started filming cars. And I had like no idea what I was doing. But the more and more I'd done it, I started to pick up the good features on the cars. And I'd show the boss, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've just done a whole video on this car. And he'd be like, no, you missed this. And I'm like, fuck, all right. And I'd have to go back and refilm the whole car. And that's how I got good at filming the cars over the 2 years.
So you started to learn sort of what looked good, what
Yeah.
didn't look good, and like because cars is a whole different thing to shoot. A lot of people don't understand that. It's like that. It's because like
To car people, they know what it is. But to a normal person, you're like, I got
it's a big hunk of metal with 4 wheels on it, and you have to
Yeah,
make it look
literally.
good.
like they look good by themselves. But like when you miss the little detail, you
Makes-
miss the whole thing.
Makes all the difference.
Yeah, literally.
Yep.
So yeah.
So how long did you work in the automotive scene for over in Melbourne?
So I did about a year and a half at that dealership that I worked at.
Yeah.
And like I didn't really like the boss there, so it was good. Like I learned a lot of things there.
Yeah.
And Maurice and his brother Evan that got me into this job. I appreciate them heaps for getting me this job and learning so much. But I had a little bit of a falling out with the boss at the end.
Yeah.
Pretty much from the start, but I just kept doing it because I was like, well, my mum's living in Scotland. I'm 17 years old. I need money to live in
Oh,
Australia.
so she didn't move back.
So no.
with you?
So mum moved with me to Alice Springs. I flew from Alice Springs over to Melbourne, and she flew back to Scotland to look after my grandparents.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm 17 living by myself, or like 16 living by myself in Melbourne.
Wow, I
So,
did
yeah.
not know that.
Bro, I literally moved into a little shitty share house with like some random Arabic fucking Indian guys. Couldn't understand what they're saying.
No
I was just
way.
paying them like $200 a week or $150 a week or something.
Oh, bro, you're getting ripped off.
Yeah.
Ripped off
That's
in
what
this
it
little
costs now.
Bro, 100%. So yeah. So I was getting like $700 a week at the moment. At the moment, at that time there.
Yep.
And I was paying like $200 a week on rent, and then had a few $100. I couldn't even go out or anything. I wasn't even old enough to go out, so I'm just
Yeah.
fucking chilling. And yeah, so I did that for about a year and a half, and then I went to another automotive place, which was next door. They asked me to come work there. They gave me a car. They gave me a phone. They gave me a pay rise over the other job. All this shit. They're like,
Can we
"Man, love you,
mention
mate."
their name or no?
No.
No, okay. I think I know what you're talking
names,
about.
No names. But yeah, way better, more respected dealership in Melbourne than where I was first working.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just got my license at this time, and they give me like a V6 or a V8 or some shit, and I was like, I probably shouldn't.
Why
even
do I
be
feel like
driving
I know where this story
this.
is
Yeah,
going?
bro.
Yeah.
And it's like me first time in a car in Melbourne. I'm like, fuck yeah, foot to the floor.
Where,
let's
where did
go.
you get your license? Did you?
Bro, I came back to Queensland. So mum's in Scotland.
Yeah.
I've come back to Queensland. Mum's friend's like, oh, I'll take you down to get your license or do the thing. I've picked up mum's car, just driving around, no license. And she's like, come meet me down at Nambour, what's it called?
TMR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, come meet me there. So I literally drive down, no license, meet her there. She goes into the office with me and she's like, oh yeah, I brought my friend's son down here. I did the test, got my license, sweet, drove back in the car.
What?
I was driving around unlicensed for ages.
How old were
man.
you?
I was like 16 or something, 17.
17,
Maybe
I think,
17.
yeah.
17, I think it was.
Just
yeah.
driving around on license.
Bro, yeah, because mum's in Scotland. So every time I came up to Sunshine Coast to visit friends, I'd just jump in her car. She left her keys here. And I'd just drive around.
Did she know?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, no.
No, she didn't know. She didn't know.
No.
I mean, if you know how to drive, you know how to drive.
If you know how to drive. If you didn't crash, you're doing all right.
Mate, the license proves nothing, all right? I've seen people with a license
Bro, I probably shouldn't
make
even
some
have one
pretty
now.
extraordinary crashes.
Oh, I've had a few in my time after I got my license.
So you got
Legit.
this car.
So I got
wanna
this car,
continue on
man,
with this
bro.
where this
I'm
story
doing
was going.
like 180 down the highway.
Guys, this was in Mexico. Just so we know.
I've already been fined for this. I've already lost my
Okay,
license.
all
This
right.
is in the past. Like
Okay,
everyone
cool.
can know about this.
It was in Australia.
Bro, it was in Melbourne, Victoria, on the highway, bro. I'm like, shoo, shoo, shoo. Thought I was some race car driver because I'm hanging around Ferraris all day. I'm like, yeah, I'm sick, but I was just a fucking.
What car was it?
Bro, it was a fucking Toyota Arion.
You're like
Yous were
making
not
it
ready
out to
for
be
that.
like some Ford Falcon.
Yeah,
just
bro,
like V6.
nah.
Like a Turbo Falcon or
Yeah.
like
I
an
couldn't
LS1.
drive turbo. I was on my fucking P's, guys. Come on.
Yeah, but you said V8, so I'm like
V6.
thinking
I
like
said V6 or V8. I don't fucking.
I mean,
I
you
told
were
you I don't
driving
know
your
about-
mum's car without a license. Why should that stop you?
Bro, I told you I don't know anything about cars. V6, I think it was.
So yeah, so did you didn't crash it?
No, but like I was flying, bro.
So did you end up losing your job there because of that?
So I was like that close. So like I was
Yeah,
sitting at work
right.
one day, like 4 cops rock up into the office and they're like, who's driving this car on this day? And the boss at the time just points at me. I'm like, oh shit. I'm just editing a video. Cops walk over. They're like, what the fuck were you thinking? I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you got caught doing like 180, like 10 times over the last 2 weeks. All this shit. I'm like, oh. And I had to like fill out all this paperwork and shit saying that like it was me and I'd done wrong and I'll pay the fines and all that. And I had like a $2,000 fine or some shit, lost my license for 6 months. And then, yeah, and then the main boss, because like there was like the manager guy and then the main boss came down from the
Higher
big
up.
shop and he came down and he's like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you, but you need to clean yourself up, eh? And I was like, all right, sorry, man. And then like I didn't get fired for that. I did like another few months there and like I just didn't really like the job because all I was doing was filming a car parked. And like at my last job, I was filming cars like driving and shit. I was like, this is sick. But then at this job, I was just filming a parked car, and
Just
I was like,
like
this isn't for me.
showrooms and stuff.
So yeah, so then I ended up moving back to Sunshine Coast after that.
Right.
But when I was in Melbourne, I went to Bali and Thailand and all that. But we don't need to know about that. That was
Yeah, that's just a whole.
that's just a whole nother.
We're already at
story.
like an hour and a bit.
Bro,
so
we're at an hour and a lot. So yeah, we won't go into all those. But that was just fun times in themselves. So yeah, I've come back to Sunny Coast and I was like, yep, sick, gonna get my shit back together. And I was like, I want to move to Goldie. And my mate at the time was like, bro, I got a spare room in Goldie if you want to move down. I was like, yeah, let's do it. He's like, $100 a week. I was like, say no more.
Talk about synchronicity. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's just like
Synchronizing,
yeah, just like the universe, like shit, just like really shifting. Like, because I'm like really into that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much yourself, but like things just shifting into place for you.
Yeah.
Where needed
Bro,
be.
it was weird. I came back to Sunny Coast and I was like, all right, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself now at all. And then literally he just messaged me. He's like, oh yeah, I've got a room for you in Goldie. I was like, oh, like, I don't really know if I want to move to Goldie, but I was like, if that's what's on the plate at the moment.
Did we press record? Okay. Keep going.
But I was like, if that's what I mean with like no goals. Like,
Yeah,
if that's what's on the
100%.
plate at the moment, I'm going to take
Yeah.
it. Like, I'm just going to run with it, man. Like,
That's right.
yeah, so I was like, yep, sweet, moved in there. It was like a tiny little dingy shit room. I was like, fuck it, I'll see what I can do.
Mad
Next
vibes,
minute, ended up meeting Josh Wade. I don't know if you guys know who that is. No, you guys are a bit too young. You're like the same age as me, but you just
Yeah, I
missed
was
out.
like, hang on a minute.
You just missed out on the good YouTube days, bro.
Yeah.
Josh Wade, he was like the first person to like blow up on YouTube back in the day.
Wait, no, maybe
He did like tradie videos. He did all that, bro. He
No,
was
I
the
know who you're
fucking-
talking
the
about.
don
I
of
think I
YouTube.
actually do know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So he's an absolute legend. But by the time I met him, he had quit doing YouTube and comedy and all that. Like he'd been doing it for years. But he was managing Frenchie, Isaac Butterfield, and like a few other comedians around. And this is when I just first moved to Goldie, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is sick. This is all just happened out of nowhere. Like I couldn't even plan this shit. And then
Wow.
he's like, oh, what's your prices, this, that? We came up with prices. And he's like, yep, sweet. I'm sending you on tour with Frenchie, sending you on tour with Isaac Butterfield, bro.
no
And I did that
way.
for like 2 years or like
I've
a year. of
seen
it.
all that.
Yeah, bro. I'm just going up to like Cairns, going up to Rockhampton, Bundaberg, like down New South Wales.
Did you follow Josh? Because I followed you before we met.
Yeah.
Like way before we met.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how. I found you somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I remember seeing all of that.
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
That was literally when I just came back from Melbourne. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do now. Like,
I always remember through followers. So I remember the following count. I think I started following you at like 10 or 11K.
that would have been around then. That would have been.
That was pretty close.
So
to
I was
then.
doing all the Frenchie shit first, and I was on about like 8 or 9. And then when I met Isaac Butterfield, I was like, bro, I'm on like 9,500 followers. And I was like, I just can't get over. And he's like, bro, if you take a sick photo for me, he's like, I'm going to give you a shout out tonight.
Yeah.
And he's like, you watch it go over. I was like, nah, bullshit. So I took this sick neon photo in, I can't even remember where we were. Like we were in like Rockhampton or something, just at some apartment. And then that night he posted it, he
remember
tagged
that
me,
photo.
and then he's just, it was like this blue neon thing or something, and then he put it on his story, and he's like, go follow my photographer. I woke up in the morning, 10K, I was like, nah, that's sick, and
That's
that was
crazy.
like, that was it.
Because you'd been struggling to push past that
I
point. 'Cause
couldn't get
remember
up
you
to
were
it,
like,
eh?
You were like doing like not shout out for shout out.
Yeah, I
but
was
like,
doing shit. Yeah, bro, I was full doing shout outs for shout
Yeah,
outs.
you were
like,
too.
all this shit, like
Because
just
I remember
trying to push it.
I shared your account.
Yeah.
And I was like, get this man.
Bro, I was
10K.
posting like 100 people on my story at night, like, come on, just get it up. Like, I just couldn't get over. And then Isaac, fucking legend, like, just pushed it over in a night. I was like, fuck me. Like, 500 followers in a night plus.
I followed you at 6.5 or 7K.
Yeah,
I
sick.
think.
That's
Jeez, pretty early on.
That would have been probably when I just moved back from Melbourne and I was just starting to
Yeah.
move into Goldie and starting to work with
Because I
Frenchie and
remember
those
scrolling
tools.
down your feed and seeing like your Melbourne stuff
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
there. So I must have followed you just after you moved back from Melbourne.
Because in Melbourne, I had like 3 or 4K.
'Cause
And
I
then when I
remember-
started, pumping it when I moved over here.
I remember following you. I thought that you worked for Isaac.
Isaac Butterfield.
Yeah, like
yeah.
not like
Yeah.
you work because like
With-
the way
yeah,
I'd like to
like
see
with
you
him all
work
the time.
with. I
Yeah.
thought you
Yeah.
worked for,
No, yeah.
and that's just what you were doing at the time. And
Yeah.
so you went on to tour with Isaac and
Yeah.
for 2 years.
Probably, I only went on probably 3 tours with him. It was a lot more of Frenchie shit. And then I did Isaac towards the end. And then while I was doing Frenchie and Isaac at the end, and then me and my mate had a house at the time. So I'd moved out of that little like house with my mate, the $100 rent.
Yeah.
Moved into my other mate's house in Coomera, so we were a bit between like Brisbane and Gold Coast.
Gold Coast.
And that's when I picked up a lot more work in like Brisbane as well and started like doing both cities. And then, what happened after that? Yeah, we had a 6-month lease, and there was a joke going around the whole time. I'm like, you won't move to Sydney at the end of the lease. And he's like, I'll do it. You won't. I was like, I'll do it, bro. And it literally got to the last week. We got to go to Sydney. We got nowhere else to go now. We've left it to the last week, and he's like, I'm going to Sydney. I was like, I'll fucking do it. Let's go. Literally, we just like, I don't even know. We packed our cars up as full as you can pack a car up with the shit we had. The rest of the stuff we like dumped out on the street, like mattresses, all this shit. Literally, this video is on my fucking old hard drive and shit of us like strapping a mattress to the roof, going down to the bush and just dumping it like bad shit. But we had to do it. We had no other way.
You had nowhere like to put anything. Or
We had
do
no,
anything.
and it was the last week. We were not prepared.
It was either the mattress dying or you.
Literally.
How did you find somewhere to go?
This
Yeah, Jarren, that's a good point. So
this guy's got the questions.
you just called it quits, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm going to Sydney."
We
We
both-
didn't
we
even
both.
pull up realestate.com
Nope.
and be like, yo, this place is for rent.
Nah, bro, what? Literally, bro, like, we probably had $100 between us, me and my mate.
What? I had
Literally.
why this about you though.
Bro, we
I've
had
always said this.
$100. Our cars were packed. It took us about 3 days to get down to Sydney. We were just stopping at shit. We were vlogging the whole thing. We were just having the fun of our life. Eating
I've
like
seen
fucking...
these vlogs. Little did I know how much it was just
Bro.
like an impulse thing.
Yeah, and we're paying like $3 for a sausage roll for lunch at 7-Eleven and shit, and like $2 for a bottle of water, and that's our lunch. And then we just keep going, filming this fun shit that we were doing. And like, so we get all the way to Sydney. We're like half an hour out. There's this truck stop, and we're like, oh yeah, sick. Let's pull out the tent. We brought this tent with us. We ended up staying at that truck stop for 3 weeks in a tent. No one knows this, bro.
What?
No one knows anything
You're
about this.
pulling my leg.
No, literally. So we've done this little bet. Oh, you won't go to Sydney. You won't go to Sydney. We've gone all the way to Sydney. Like
With $100.
3 days, $100 between us. By the time we get there, we're probably on like $20, $50 something.
With a
Literally,
tent at a
pull
truck
up this
stop.
tent at a truck stop every day. We'd drive to the train station, catch the train into Sydney. We'd meet other vloggers, other photographers. We'd collab with all these people. We were shooting for big brands at the time. I was shooting for like dentists and shit, doing all this content. I started to rake in money while I'm staying in a tent down the road on a truck stop, bro. And then 3 weeks of staying there, we found this share house. And we went and talked to the guy and we're like, oh, could we get one room in it? And he's like, there's no one in it. Me and him both ended up renting out a room each in this share house. And because there was only 2 rooms, we ended up having the whole house to ourselves. And then we had that for like 5 months.
How much were you paying there?
Bro, we're paying like $150 each or
Wow.
something.
That's good.
And we didn't know anyone when we moved to Sydney.
And you were
then
just doing freelancing work
Bro,
at
we're
that
just doing
stage?
freelancing work, 100%.
And
Didn't
he
know
was
anyone.
as well, obviously.
Yeah, and my mate was doing freelance work. I'd like taught him how to do film work and shit. He had a camera. So we're both just doing it, bro. We're both finding gigs. We're both going to them, setting prices, meeting vloggers, like traveling around the whole Sydney. First 3 weeks on trains and shit. Literally living in a tent. And I've never told anyone this. No one has
That's
a clue.
crazy.
And people are like, oh, like, I'm too scared to move to another state. I'm too scared to do this. I'm like, brother, I moved in a fucking tent and made money to move into a house and like ended up living in Sydney
That's
for
the-
8 months, bro. Like, what do you mean?
That's the ultimate, like, do you have the mindset where it's like, because I feel like you do, where it's like, I'm going to back myself into, like, if I back myself into a corner, I just know that I will find a way.
I like not being comfortable. If I'm comfortable,
Oh, I
I
love
fucking
it.
hate my life, bro.
Comfort is the enemy
I
of
hate
progression.
it. So
Yeah.
that's why I didn't plan anything to go to Sydney because I'm like, fuck, I'm going to need money and all this shit. But like, I didn't have much money at the time. I was just living with my mate. We were pulling in enough money each week to pay for rent and that's it. And we're doing Frenchie shows and this and that. So I'm making a little bit, but like at the same time, it's not like massive money at the
Yeah.
time. Like they're big and all, but they're not like well enough to
Yeah,
pay like
yeah,
heaps
not like
and heaps.
world
and like,
renowned.
yeah, and I'm only doing that once a month or something like that for a week or something. So that's not going to last very long. So I'm doing other jobs and shit enough to make like rent money and food. But like when we got down to the end, we're like, fuck, we got $50 each. Let's go. And like we both had just the hunger. We're like, we want to move to Sydney. And my thing is, I'm trying to do a year in each state. And then I just want to meet as many people in each state as I can. So if I go back to Sydney now, I got work like that. And that's what I mean. At
That's
the time,
so
I didn't know
cool.
anyone. So I go down, I'll stay in a tent with fucking $50. And then I networked for 8 months of being there. And if I go back now, I can get a real estate job. I can get this, I can get that. I could just go live there if I wanted to. Not that I want to, but like, that's what.
Well, but the thing with you is we don't know.
That's it. In
You
5
could-
years from now, I could be like, I want to move to Sydney. And I'll go there. I already
you
got
will
offered a
move-
real estate filming job there like a few months ago. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, it's just, I don't want to go to
Bro,
Sydney.
you
at the
could
moment.
wake up tomorrow and then just be in another country.
He does that though.
Defy
Not country,
all-
but
Bro.
state.
I'll
Defy
go-
all odds.
I'll go stay in a tent for 3 months. Like, that shit doesn't faze me. That's what I mean by like, the money doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
Me doing my passion makes me happy. And that's the happiest I was in like years in that tent, making the best vlogs. Like, I'm sitting at Macca's uploading shit. You guys had no idea.
Yeah,
like,
that's sick.
people are
I
following me
remember
like,
seeing it
oh,
on your
this
story.
guy's like, oh, he's got money. How's he doing this? And everyone's like, oh, you need money to travel. I'm like, bro, I got $50. I'm $5 now. I just spent my last $5 on Macca's chips. Like, what do you mean?
So I could sit and use their Wi-Fi.
100%. And I've got to find work tomorrow. So I've got an hour on this Macca's Wi-Fi that I have to find work. And if I don't find it, I'm fucked. That's my life,
Wow.
Bro, I feel like I've got no excuses
bro.
now.
There's no excuses.
there is
I have to
no
achieve everything.
There's no excuses.
Yeah. Wow, man, you've really
That's it.
sent it. I didn't even know it
Yeah.
went that in depth.
Yeah.
So how long were you in Sydney for?
So I think I did about 8 or 9 months in Sydney. I ended up having a girl that I was talking to from Gold Coast moved up. We went into a little share house for a bit
Yeah.
after that one that me and my mate were in. I've lived in a lot of share houses. There's nothing. People fucking despise like share houses and think they're gross and this and that. But fuck, I've met some cool people through them. I've got a lot of work through them. And that shit's fun, man. Like,
Yeah,
and
well-
it's cheap. It's just like staying in hostel. Some people don't like it. Some people do.
Dude,
is
if
what
it
is.
works for you, it works.
It fucking works, man. Trust me. And that's why I was traveling around on the cheap, just in share houses. That shit's sick.
Me and Lachlan went on a road trip. Shout
Yeah.
out Lachlan.
Yeah,
And
fuck yeah, Lachlan.
we went on a road trip and we stayed at a hostel
Yeah,
and
that shit's wild.
we went in.
Yeah.
We put our bags there.
Yeah.
We walked outside. We looked at each other and we said, fuck this. Bro, there was like some big sweaty sumo dude in the shower just walked out with like barely anything on, bro. I look at Lachlan. I'm like, we got to go outside. There's like a piss stain on my bed, right? There's like 10 other sweaty guys in this room.
Yeah.
Walk outside. I look at him and go, this just ain't it. I would
That's
rather
a piss
literally
week effort. I was shooting with a fucking model the other week, bro, and she's like good looking, and she's been all around Australia staying in hostels, and I'm like, fuck, hats off to you, eh? Like, I know a lot of
Yeah.
boys that won't do that shit, just as you said. And this chick's
But-
full done it, man. Like, and I'll do share houses. Hostels aren't really my thing. but
I'll
like,
sleep.
share houses. Yeah.
Mark my words, I will sleep in a trash can before I ever sleep in a hostel.
100%.
That
bro.
was so.
They're rough.
Dude, he
They're
just
rough.
looked at me. He's like, "How are you?" And I'm like, Lachlan, we are going. So we
Sleep
literally
in the car, bro.
grabbed our shit out at like 11 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah.
Just dragged out suitcases off.
Yeah.
I went down to reception. I'm like, I got yellow stains on my bed, and they're like,
We don't care.
yeah, they literally
don't give
they
a
looked
shit.
at me and they're like,
Bro, you're paying like $5 a night.
yeah, they're like, we've changed the sheets. And I was like, okay. And I just looked.
That doesn't
yeah.
mean you washed them.
No.
So me and
changed
Lachlan,
them.
Yeah, they just grabbed it off the bed next to it and just switched them over.
I think we I think we literally just pissed off and just went to Sydney that night. We
Yeah.
did. We ended up drove the whole
Where
way to the
were
night.
you at this hostel? Where was it?
I don't know. Like Coffs Harbour or
Oh,
something? I don't
Coffs.
know.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I've done Coffs a few times.
Yeah, so we just sent it to Sydney and then just slept on the side of the road somewhere.
Fucking just bring a tent, bro. Tent and a little mattress,
what?
bro. That's the way to do it.
On that road trip, I made some of the best memories I've ever had
Yeah.
in my life, and we spent nothing,
Fucking-
bro. We had
yeah.
like I think the budget was just like $300
Yeah.
each, bro.
Literally, bro. That's it.
And we were just like high on life at that stage,
Yeah.
bro.
Bro,
It was
there's
just
there's
so
nothing, there's
sick.
no rules, there's no one telling you what to do. You can just fucking go. That was the highlight. Going down to Sydney with no money, honestly, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had, eh? Like, once I got to Sydney, it was pretty average, but like the way down there was sick.
so sick.
It was sick, yeah.
So you were in Sydney for
For
just
about 8-9
working as
months.
freelancer.
Had my misso at the time there, and then I actually got my car stolen while I was there. And had like
Yeah.
half my. Luckily, it didn't have my camera and the main shit I had, but it had like my stabilizer, a few other things. Yeah, I actually got pulled up at knife point. That was fucking nuts. Yeah, that
way.
was hectic. I was in a rough area. I didn't even know.
I remember that because I think I refunded your order for Venture, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
Because
Yeah.
you lost everything you had, bro. Like, because that
half our shit.
that gimbal was like your means to create.
That was
you
that
were
was
in
like
Sydney
yeah.
with nothing. You'd
I had
already
my
lost
camera.
your car.
Luckily had my camera and my charger and the main shit. But like, yeah, I lost my my stabilizer. My misso lost a lot of her shit because I just helped her moved up. So she had like all her bags, like all that shit in the car and all that got taken. So I fucking felt real bad for her. But yeah, after that, we ended up getting the car back. Nothing was in it. Luckily got it back though. As soon as we got it back, we heard there was a lockdown coming in because of the coronavirus shit had just started happening. And we're like, let's get the fuck out of Sydney. So we literally drove back to, this is fucked. We drove all the way back to Sunshine Coast. We're staying with a friend, Sophie, up in Woombai. And then we could only fit half the shit in the car.
This is when we linked up and went to the falls.
Yeah. So we brought half the shit up. We turned around, literally went all the way back to Sydney, put the other half of the shit in the car, came up, passed the border 3 hours before they locked the border, bro. We made it through into Queensland.
So did you do that all in the same day? You went to Sydney
like
twice.
we had a 5 hour sleep when we got to Queensland. Literally woke up again and then turned straight back.
Bro, that's next level stuff.
I think I'd done over like 10, 11, even more trips to and from Queensland to Sydney last year. Like I drove, and that Commodore fucking raided, eh?
Dude, shout out to the Commodore.
The Commo, the fucking Commo. But that time we came back to shout out Sophie for having me in Udalo for a couple of months. And then how did I get back to Gold Coast? Fuck, I don't even know the next part of the story, eh?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, bro. You've just done that much.
Yeah, so I drove that much. We did that much. We stayed there. Yeah, that's right. We ended up booking we booked a 4-month Airbnb in Gold Coast.
You can do that?
Yeah, you can book 4-month stays.
Yeah, you can book long-term stays.
Yeah, the max is like a 4 week.
Do you have to pay for it up front?
Yeah. You have to pay. It's just like when you pay for Airbnb to go stay at the one night.
Yeah,
like you
right.
just pay
I
for
didn't
the
know
whole
you
thing.
could do that.
Yeah. So
At what point do you just live in the house?
It's
and
weird.
move
and we
everything
didn't even
in
get
there,
a,
like
we
your
didn't even, yeah, we
furniture?
moved all the shit from our car. We literally just moved it in there for 4 weeks in this one room, bro. Because we were in a share house before, we only had a little room, but we had heaps of shit still. We had to do like 3 trips from Sunny Coast to Gold Coast to move all our shit in this room. In that, this is what I mean about not having goals. You know how you said shit just works out for you? I got hit up by bro. I got hit up by Celebrity Inc. in Surfers Paradise to do their whole campaign for the year of photos. All that shit was going on the Bali, Thailand, all that like big signs. They were up in Brisbane on the billboards and shit.
Wow.
They asked me to do that. When I went there to do that shoot, I met a model and she's like, "We got a granny flat for rent. You guys can literally move in like whenever you want." So as soon as our 4-week thing stay at that place finished, we moved in to this model and her like husband's place.
Yeah.
And that's where we stayed for like the next 6 months, bro. And I was in Palm Beach and Goldie doing a bunch of shoots, getting all my shit. And then that's when I met Shammi, get offered the full-time job. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Shammi had a boat party.
Yeah, literally. And like at the time, I'd just come back from Sunshine Coast to Gold Coast and I had all these ear problems. So I had like bad vertigo, all this shit. And I could barely work for like 3 or 4 months. And then I got hit up by Shammi. Like I was literally, if I stood up, I'd just fall over. I'd faint. Like it was fucked. And I was in hospital all the time with this. But anyway, like, yeah, Shammi's management hit me up to come on this boat and film. And I'm like, I can't even stand up in my own bedroom, bro.
Man.
Like, but I was like, when the opportunity calls, you fucking take it, right? So I went and I done it and I didn't get seasick, luckily. And they loved the video. So I was like,
yeah, that looked like a wild time.
it was wild. I've been back on that same boat. They just hired it out for the venue.
They know how to.
And I've been back on that boat and no parties have topped that party. That
Shammi, I don't even party, but Shammi knows how to throw a party.
his management know how to fucking throw a
party.
party. He knows how to party and they know how to throw the party.
Yeah,
So
that's the ultimate combination.
It's a good combination.
People that are better than you in different areas.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what
If you
it's
can't
all
do
about.
it, you hire someone else to fucking do that
Literally.
shit. Don't try and do it yourself.
So you work
probably
for
could, but yeah.
So this is sort of coming up to present
Yeah,
time
yeah,
now, which
yeah.
is probably good because we're probably going to wrap this podcast up pretty soon so it doesn't
100%.
drag out too long.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that you're going to probably be one of the first recurring guests anyway. Like
100%.
sometime soon, come back on and we'll talk out some other. Because like
I feel like we've probably missed.
we have missed
Shit.
so
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
of your story. It is just absolutely.
We haven't even got into any other other countries I've been to or anything like that.
So yeah, we'll definitely get you back another time.
But yeah, let's keep this one short and sweet.
That's it.
Like we haven't.
Yeah, we sort of already passed short and sweet. So how long did you work for Shammi for?
So I've literally just quit probably about four months ago or something. So I did about 8 months with him. It was fucking sick, man. We've been on some cool adventures. We went to Sydney together, the whole team, gave away a Mercedes car that he was doing a giveaway for.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like we've done some cool videos, man. Like this shit there I would not have been able to do with anyone else, which was sick. And it was a vibe working for him. But yeah, when it came to the end of it, I don't know. It's just like, I felt like I was just constantly doing the same thing over and over and over, and I was like, my creativity is starting to go downhill.
That's
like,
what we're talking about.
It was like, yeah, the money. They're like, oh, but the money's good, and I was like, yeah, the money's good, but I'm not enjoying myself, so that doesn't really.
And that's me. Yeah, and that's literally what we're talking about at the start of the podcast, where it's like it becomes a job, not a passion.
Yeah, and it was becoming a job. Like when I first started with him, man, and he was in the old house, it fooled. Everyone was vibing, but like I feel when they went into the second house and the office was all there and stuff, it felt like a real like
a workplace.
Job. It was a workplace. Yeah. It wasn't like, but it has to be like that as well, because like you can't just constantly make prank videos all day long for fun. Like there comes to a point where it has to be a job, and you've got to like.
And that's right. And you know, in saying that, he does have a massive empire that he is upholding, and
bro,
he has
smashed it. He has fucking.
He has got a lot of like responsibility there, and people that rely on him for wages.
100%.
So for him, he has to implement those certain things to keep what he's doing going.
Yeah. He can't just sit back and be like, oh, yeah, I'll just pay you when I pay you, because he needs to fucking make that money. And shout out to the team as well, like Austin, Jay, we got Blake Melbourne, and whoever else was there, Andy and Kate as well. They like the people behind the scenes, they're putting in a fucking lot of work that no one sees at all. And no one sees the shit that they do, but fuck, that shit would not be happening if it wasn't for all them.
Yeah, well, it sounds like they've got a really good like network of people in there, and they all just bounce off each other.
They do, and it's good. And like, fucking hats off to them. But at the end of the day, when it felt a bit too much like work for me, that's not a bad thing. Like sometimes it's got to feel like work, but I just felt like even when I was going to do other video stuff, I just didn't have that creativity.
It doesn't have to feel like work,
though. It doesn't.
You know what I mean?
And like, just constantly editing in that office, man, that's not me. Like I like to go home, do my editing where I'm comfortable with my screen and my setup and in my house. And like, have a drink, go for a walk down the beach for half an hour and then come back and refresh my mind. But to them, we're paying you for this time. This is what you got to do. So I'm like, fair enough, but that's not how I work. So
you sort of left that, like obviously all good terms and stuff.
Yeah,
and then
I left that on good terms.
Just went into your own sort of stuff again, because I remember you made that post.
So they'd still hire me out to do shit for them. They had other brands that they created, which was like Vlo Vapes. They had Uncut Media, Shammi Uncut, bunch of other things that they had, Uncut Kitchen and all that.
One big umbrella, isn't it?
So yeah, bro, it grew and it grew and it grew. Not gonna lie, they need way more filmmakers there, because trying to get two people to do all that shit was just nuts. But yeah, it's what they have at the time, so they're just using what they can, which is fair enough.
That's it.
But yeah, so it got a bit too big. They were trying to do too many businesses for me to constantly film with the other guy, Jaden. So I was like, I just need to break off. But they did contract me back to come and do some stuff sometimes, so that's still cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But now I just do my own freelance stuff. This is where I'm at the moment, and that's what I want to do. So
I guess that sort of brings us to
100%.
Present day right here.
That's it.
I guess that sort of brings us to present day right here where we 100%.
are. And almost like back to square one with your journey as well, because that's how you started.
That's
like just doing your own thing, just
100%.
letting your creative stuff
and
just
like
flow
doing
on.
that shit has just that's pointed me in the way of where I want to go with my like freelancing, like working with all these guys. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do all the shit I'm doing. So like,
that's it.
I've needed to do that full-time work sometimes, even though it's not the full thing I wanted to do. It's like helped me a lot.
All of the things that you've sort of done, and like, you know, like whether it be that first car dealership where you sort of had a fallout, or whether it be the second one that was better, or where it be working for Shammi, it's all just like, it's all obviously provided you a massive amount of value in certain areas of your life, and it's almost like future building sort of stuff.
Yeah, bro.
Because like you have got a lot under your portfolio now.
Yeah.
And like I don't think there's much.
I still don't like to I don't know if this is the way you're going, but I don't like to use other people's names. Like, so a lot of people that see me out, they're like, "Oh, you were Shammi's photographer." You did that. I'm like, "No, I'm not. I did that, but like,
I'm Josh Paton.
I'm Josh Paton. I'm Paton Media. Like, I do a lot more shit than just film Shammi. Like, anyone can go do that. I could give anyone a camera, bro. They could go film that shit. That shit's not like hard to do.
That's not filmmaking.
It's fucking sick, and they've got a good thing going. But for me, I want to be doing cinematic, cool shit that like. I want to be Paton Media, not Shammi's video.
100%. You want to be known as Josh Paton,
100%.
not like
not getting fame off someone else. That's
yeah, legit. And I think you've done a really good. Like, I think you've gone a really good way about doing that as well. But like what I was saying was like, I think your portfolio is insane though.
Yeah.
Like just like what you've done, what you've worked for.
Yeah.
Who you've worked for, and like what you've created, how many places you've been. What like. It's just unbelievable, like, because you don't hear about it.
Never had a resume in my life either.
That is a flex. That is a flex.
I literally just pull up the Instagram, pull up the YouTube. I'm like, this is what I've done.
That is a flex. But I guess that brings us to present day. But I just want to say congratulations to you. I think that's a wrap. Do you have anything else that you want to say?
Not really. I think we covered.
We've covered most things.
I want to say congratulations to you guys for fucking smashing this out, eh?
Legend.
You boys have killed it. Like, I've never been on a podcast before. You've never done a podcast before.
This is
I think we crushed it for a first one, man. We've had some good conversations for sure. So cheers for having me on, bro.
No worries. I want to thank you. Congratulate you on all your success. If people want to follow you and your journey, where can they find you?
Not that one you put up before.
Not that.
2013 Facebook.
Yeah. At the Paton Media. That's the one. You'll find me there.
Just on Insta. Insta's your main gig.
Insta. Oh, you can find me on Facebook if you want as well. But yeah, Insta's the one.
Legend. All right. So I'll link that down in the description.
100%.
Once again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Glad. I said it from day one. I was like, you'll be the first guest, and we pulled through.
Here
we
we
made
are.
it happen.
Only a week after pulling it all together.
Dude, 4 months ago.
Yeah.
4 months ago, I messaged you and I was like, hey, bro, like, you want to be the first guest? You're like, yep, I'll hold off doing every podcast until.
Done.
And then here we are. So
we smashed it out. And the full life story too. That's sick.
That's awesome. And that's not even the full life story.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's a lot though. It's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot. Well, I guess with that, I'm going to do the outro and pretty much take it off from here. So like Josh said before, if you guys want to follow him, it's at the Paton Media on Instagram. If you guys are interested in following the journey with the Passion Project, the Instagram handle and everything will be linked down below. Please consider leaving us a rating on iTunes. Follow, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. I don't even know podcast terminology at the minute.
Drop a comment on YouTube.
We may have even switched off from video, but that's okay.
It's fine.
But yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's shown support on this journey, and especially to this man here, Josh. He's done a lot for me that people may not even realize, and he's actually had a pretty big part of all of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So yeah, if you guys are interested in following along, like I said, subscribe, follow, do all of that good stuff. Follow myself, follow Jarren.
And we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you in the next one.
You!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, boys.